Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. Corey, things are moving in spring sports. We are in full swing. We are ready to go. Lots of stuff is happening. We got some track and field kind of updates to notify you about in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the softball game yesterday that I had to do. Can I get a moment to talk about that?
What if I said no right now? What would we do next?
I'd probably just start talking over you about the softball game anyway. So I'm just allowing you an opportunity to say some words before I talk more words.
Wow, what a way to make yourself seem like a good guy.
I try. I really do. One of the best characteristics about myself, Corey, is that I'm humble.
Sure. Yeah.
Humble. I can win any race. I can beat any competition.
Yeah.
Easy on the eyes. But, my most important quality is that I'm humble and modest. And, that's, I'm humble and kind, like Tim McGraw says. Anyway, here's how the game went yesterday. Wadena Deer Creek hosted Pillager. Weirdly, here's a little quirk in the schedule. We are on April 16th, and Pillager and Wadena Deer Creek are done playing each other this season. They've played each other twice without playing in a doubleheader. So, fun. And the even extra quirk into this is that they played their first game against each other on March 31st. Again, two things that rarely happen in a spring sports season.
This is a pretty big gap.
There was a snowstorm in between. That's how big of a gap there was.
That's true. Yeah.
So Pillager and Wadena Deer Creek squared off. Wadena Deer Creek trying to go for the season sweep. Wolverines would get a quick lead in the early going. They would play 2 in the first inning. Then Pillager came back. They were able to get 1. They were able to tie it back, at 2 in the second inning. And then the Wolverines in their part of the third, in the second, they were able to get another run. So they took a 3-2 lead heading into the third inning. They proceeded to give up a run. It was 3-3. And then all of a sudden it was 4-3 Pillager. And then you turn around and Wadena Deer Creek dropped a 5-run third inning, capped off by a Montana Karsten bases clearing double. She finished the game, by the way, for Wadena Deer Creek. 1 for 4 with a double, 3 RBIs, and of course pitching a complete game on the mound. That was kind of the exclamation point on that inning. And then both pitchers really settled down throughout the game, both Karsten and the aptly named Corey for Pillager, for the pitcher for the Pillager Huskies, aptly named was Brianna Blaze.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Blaze blows it by her on that one for strike 3. Was a fun call to get steam coming off the hand from Blaze. Just a couple good things you get to mix in there.
Did you say both of those things?
I said the first one. I just thought of the second one.
Yeah.
When you have those moments, you got to use them.
Was that her, speaking of Montana, we learned recently, was that her 100th career hit, or what did she get that previous?
On Friday against Parker's Prairie.
Congratulations to her. That's a lot of varsity at bats.
Mm-hmm. A lot of them, and a lot of hits, and able to get that. And for Wadena Deer Creek, they improved to 3-1 on the season now. All games so far in Park Region Conference play. I think the thing for both teams is that early season rust is still very apparent. Wadena Deer Creek, I believe, over the course of the game had 5 errors. You look, and there were 3 errors for Pillager throughout. And it's just things like, a ground ball was kind of hit and kind of took a bounce under my glove or something like that. Or, I'm running up to get it and it bounced off the front. Or I'm an outfielder and I just couldn't quite track that baseball. And it kind of going back and forth, turned myself sideways. I reach out and I tap the ball with my glove or something like that. Things that, talking with Coach Umland of Wadena Deer Creek, were like, there are issues and we got to work them out, but it's good that we're working them out on April 15th. So that way on May 15th, we're done and past them.
Yep, that's fair.
That's where they're at this point in the season. Same thing with Pillager. New head coach Elena Fritz, a Pillager alum, a BSU alum. Got to get the Roll Beavs in there when we can. And overall, just again, talking with her about the program and kind of the things, and just trying to, she feels like has a good team, feels like they're winning the mental battle this season and doing the things they need to do and just kind of rounding into form throughout the season. So there you go. That's the matchup. Wadena Deer Creek won 8-5. They sweep the season series against Pillager, and we move on. Let's talk about the things that are happening on the Sports Cow Facebook page. Corey, can I get a moo? Moo. Here's some things that are happening on the Sports Cow Facebook page that we need to know about. First of all, for Bertha Hewitt Verndale track and field, senior Ethan Snorick broke the school record for the 60-meter hurdles. His time was 9.66 seconds, breaking the previous record of 9.67, which was set in 2018, and got to get that achievement there. So that's pretty darn cool.
I was thinking about this. How fast do you think you and I could run 60-meter hurdles?
Whatever time I say will be still giving myself too much credit.
15? Like, that's a long, it's 60 meters.
Right.
It's not far. And 15 seconds compared to what was 9?
It was 9.66 seconds.
Like, would Ethan beat us by 6 full seconds?
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
So he crosses the timeline. Let's do this. He's going to cross the timeline right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You think that's us? Did that feel fair?
Yeah, sure. I'll hesitantly hop on board.
Now, I feel like we need to run the 60-meter hurdles once. I would pull every hamstring in my body and probably yours too.
I will jump and I will crash my knee right into the hurdle.
Yeah, I don't think I could jump it. That's probably fair. I probably can't even get over.
Look, you can knock over the hurdles. You don't get DQ'd for knocking them over. It just slows you down.
It might be that I'm running through them. That's super fast. That seems really fast.
Get to the end of the hurdles and you just have like 4 of them like wrapped around you and you're like, oh.
Ethan could run the 60-meter hurdles faster than I could run the 60 meters.
That's probably fair. Yes. That's probably the better. Should we?
More interesting question.
I think we should reach out to Verndale and be like, Bertha Hewitt Verndale track and field. Like, can we do a thought experiment here? Let's go out to the track at Malin Field and let's practice some things here.
I don't want to do it. It'll be embarrassing because I'm pretty sure
the whole school out to watch.
I think I would need to start stretching yesterday for this. That would be bad for me.
Mm-hmm. Not good. So congratulations. How about this, Corey? Let's flip it to a different event. How about we try triple jump? What do you think?
I would be worse at the triple jump than I would the 60-meter hurdles. It's not even close.
From Pioneer River Bacchus Activities Facebook page, Callie Norman set a new school record in the triple jump at the Park Rapids Panther Invitational with a jump of 35 feet 4 inches. The previous record was held by Alora Dahl at 34.2.
That was recent. So that's this Alora didn't graduate that long ago.
Nope.
Here's the thing about the triple jump. I could do the first of the 3.
Yeah.
That the second part of the second in the triple jump, the second jump of the triple would break me.
Yeah.
And it would be so hilariously not far that the third jump would almost effectively be a standing broad jump.
Uh-huh.
I would be worse at the triple jump than the 60-meter hurdles because I think I could complete the 60-meter hurdles.
Yes. It wouldn't be fast, but at least like you could do them.
It wouldn't be fast. It wouldn't be pretty. It'd be borderline embarrassing. The triple jump would end potentially my life.
Probably.
That would be just embarrassing to try that.
Yeah.
I don't have that jumping muscle.
No.
Not a leap. Never have been, never will be. Not going to start now. If I wasn't when I could kind of jump, Do you think I can jump now?
I'm in a war against gravity all the time. Turns out gravity's won.
My knees and my Achilles are toast. It'd be what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. I'm jealous of all of your athletic abilities.
We got some things to talk about here. Minnesota Twins injury news that just continues to pile up. The Minnesota Wild are into the playoffs, and we got NBA nickname game today with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's all coming up. But first, Corey, we need to talk about the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Dine, earn, and repeat with the Pizza Ranch Rewards app. Try it today, and we mean today, Wednesday, for your double points day order. Download the app, enjoy the convenience of the check-in feature, check your rewards balance, and easily order your favorites through Pizza Ranch online ordering. And then, once you sign into the app, you're automatically signed into Pizza Ranch online ordering when you tap the start order on the app. Download the app. Use it today. Double your points. And don't forget, dine in, take out, delivery. Pizza Ranch will get you your food the easiest and most convenient way that you need it to get into your belly. If you stop in, head on over to the FunZone Arcade, play some games, win some prizes, have a blast with the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, let's first talk Minnesota Wild. They are back into the playoffs after being out of it last year. They are back in, and because the NHL playoff structure is so weird, basically the same teams play like the same opponents every year. So instead of the Wild's annual first-round playoff loss against Dallas, it's time for the Wild's annual first-round playoff loss against the Vegas Golden Knights.
Boo! Boo!
In a rematch of the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2021, where the Wild they got down 3-0. Was it? They got down 3-0, or was it down 3-1? And then they ended up getting it all the way back to a game 7 where they lost. It's like, had like a 2-goal game in the middle of it where it was kind of like his final like big moment as a member of the Wild, something like that. It was
rest in peace.
And goalie Marc-Andre Fleury put on a clinic for in that series for the Golden Knights. Now he's with the Wild and all that stuff. I'll be honest, everybody hates Vegas, and they have given themselves good reason to be hated in the NHL. But that being said, I don't hate Vegas because they have former classmate of co-host of the Morning Sports Desk podcast, Zach Whitecloud, is one of their defensemen. So I can't hate Bemidji State alum Zach Whitecloud. I had sociocultural and ethical issues in sport with that guy. What am I supposed to hate him?
No. You can hate Vegas. You don't have to hate him.
Yeah, sure. When he's on the ice.
You can respect Brett Favre and not like the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. By the way, in that same class...
You can like Mr. Whitecloud. You do not have to like Vegas.
By the way, in that same class I was in with Zach Whitecloud was also in the same class with Gunnar Olszewski, who played for the New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants.
Oh, yeah. And how did you feel about New England when Gunnar was playing?
No, they were in the separate conference. Who really cared?
Oh, now I'm making excuses, huh?
Because
there's a consistency in your life, CJ.
Look, I am not a Minnesota sports fan. I am a Zach Whitecloud fan.
Always have been, always will be.
Always have been, always will be. Look, seeing win the Stanley Cup and hold that thing up, it was emotional. I'm not going to lie.
I hate you.
It was cool 2 years ago getting to see a former classmate of mine get to hold up Lord Stanley's cup.
That is cool. I agree completely.
Brought a tear to my eye. So congratulations to the Wild. Zeke was in here yesterday talking about how all the Wild needed to do was get a point and go to overtime, and boy, did they.
Oh, boy, did they.
They were losing by a goal going into the final minute. Wild with under 30 seconds to go, able to score one, and then able to get one in overtime to win. Marc-Andre Fleury was the goalie in overtime because, well, the Wild already secured a playoff spot by getting the 1 point by going to overtime. So if they lost, who cared? So Marc-Andre Fleury was like, can I go back out onto the ice one last time? Got 4 saves. Wild were able to win it in overtime because, let's be honest, Marc-Andre Fleury is probably not playing in the playoffs.
Yeah,
You get enough days in between starts and whatever where like it's going to be we're going to be riding the Gus bus throughout this whole thing.
I mean, that would be, you would think, but
boy, the NHL sure is a way of getting weird.
Billy Guerin has ever done that.
Billy Guerin's just got a feeling, man.
Mm-hmm.
This is about winning. It's about winning cups. F that. It's about winning cups. And then he trades for his old buddy Marc-Andre Fleury.
79-year-old Marc-Andre Fleury. No, that's cool. That's a cool moment for him and for the team and all that. That was neat to get him in.
It was also neat on the text thread yesterday seeing Zeke emphatically being like, they're going to lose this game. They're going to get eliminated from the playoffs. What is happening? And then the moment they got the goal, he was like, oh my gosh. Like, what is happening?
To go or whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. So it was huge. And Zeev or Zeb or whatever that guy's name is, Zeke has been talking a lot about him. Zeev. He was a healthy scratch yesterday, obviously, because he like just got to the team. But, you know, you get a break for the playoffs before the playoffs start. My guess is they're going to ramp him up to speed pretty quickly and throw him in there.
Does he have a cool number or is it a hockey number? Is he like number 63 or something dumb?
I think Zeke said they gave him number 8, which it's like when the Wild gave Brock Faber like 7 immediately.
Do I like 8?
You know,
I'm different about 8. I think I'm indifferent about 8.
On a hockey sweater, you almost need double digits. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I feel that way, but on a hockey sweater, you need to have 2 digits.
I'm on board with number 8, though.
I'm on board. 8 is great, says Corey Tackman.
Z, booyah, booyam.
Booyah.
Voice of the Minnesota Wild, and he scored a goal, I would say booyah, booyam.
Yeah.
And then I would yell, Zeev is here in honor of my friend Zeke, who has sent no fewer than Zeev is here in a text message 15 times.
And then never having him be here. He was so disappointed when Z was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, he should have been.
I would have been. I don't blame him, but he was just disappointed. It was not a good time for him. But now the Wild are in. And at that point, now we just kind of
go Wild, go Wild, go.
Go Wild, go. Normally this is the point where I go like go Twin or go Wolf or go Viking, but now I say go Wild, and now it just feels like I feel like I'm genuinely wishing them good luck. Why would I want to give off that impression? Go Twin, I guess. I don't know. Go Wilds. Maybe that's the play. Go Wilds.
Let's go crazy. Don't sue me, Prince Estate, for that. That was very short. I apologize.
Cease and desist has already been filed. You're done. Hey, the Minnesota Twins. They got a win yesterday.
They did. I got to watch it.
Yeah, because you watched the one on Fox 9? I
don't know. Whatever was on is the one I watched.
It was on YouTube TV, and Corey turned it on.
I sure did. I watched
the whole family in the living room, and you started watching.
I watched Wheel of Fortune first. I turned the TV on. I was like, the Twins are on. That's awesome. All right, Wheel of Fortune, and then we'll catch up. We'll get caught up on the Twins.
And they won. So, they're 1-0 when Corey's watching on Fox 9.
More importantly, they are winners. I think at least half of their wins. They have 6 wins now this year. At least half of their wins are when we do Twins Ticket Tuesday. I think half of their wins this year are on Tuesdays.
I have the schedule right in front of me here. The Twins have won on Tuesday the 7th. Tuesday the 4th. Then Tuesday what the heck is going on here? Why do I got my schedule? Tuesday the 1st, I got covered up by the W I put on the schedule. W on the 1st, an L on the 8th, and a W yesterday. So they are 2-1 on Tuesday nights.
A third of their wins come on Tuesday.
Yep.
Tell you what, you find one more day of the week where you don't lose, and you're going to the playoffs.
Yep.
If you win every Tuesday and every Thursday and every Friday for the rest of the year, every Tuesday and Friday you just win, you're going to the playoffs.
Right. Those are guaranteed wins, and everything else is a 50-50.
Yep.
Like, you're going to win a lot of games.
Is that so much to ask?
Exactly. Consistency. What the heck?
I tell you what, they've been consistent in losing important players to injury. At least we can rely on them for that.
Yeah. So that gets to the point of today's thing. Matt Wallner left in the first inning. with leg discomfort. And like they just kind of said basically a lower leg injury. And looking on how I'm kind of trying to see if there's any injury updates. By the time you're listening to this, the Twins game is probably either done or almost done. So kind of getting some quick injury updates here from things happening with the Twins. Matt Wallner and Carlos Correa will likely get some imaging done. Rocco Baldelli said post-game yesterday, and they said, see what we're looking at tomorrow morning. They're going to monitor them and see what the tests say. For Carlos Correa, Rocco Baldelli had to say this because Matt Wallner left with a lower leg injury, hamstring, and then Carlos Correa left with wrist discomfort. And Carlos Correa said, hey, I've been dealing with it for a little bit, this and that. And here's what Rocco had to say on it. And he said, it's something that's been discussed previously, but it's not something that's ever held him back from performing, taking the field, or anything like that. So I had literally zero concern and really zero discussion this year about the wrist, but it was something that would periodically pop up and give him some, I think, minor issues. It's something I think even right now we're going to be able to work through. So it kind of feels like at this moment, no IL stints. And that was, again, all post-game quotes. Or I think that quote was Rocco Baldelli pregame today. So it doesn't sound like IL stints are coming, but it sounds like they're going to miss for sure today's game. I haven't seen the lineup yet. But they're going to miss that game. And then also there's an off day tomorrow. So it builds in kind of 2 days to rest and see where you're at. And if the Twins put them on the IL, well, it retroactives to today or whatever, where they'll already have the 2 days kind of banked in anyways. So it doesn't do them any good to just put them on the IL until they for sure know what they're dealing with. Those are injuries, Corey. I know we got one more to talk about, but just on those two, how are we feeling?
They suck, man. But nothing has changed. The Twins are not good at baseball right now. The pitching's been fine. Pitching's been arguably good. Their hitting has been terrible. They scored 6 runs yesterday. Yeah. Brooks Lee hit a bomb. That was fun. He absolutely demolished it. I have a kind of a follow-up on some of this, though, and that's exactly right. And I'm looking at the starting lineup for the Twins. They posted that, and they have Lee starting at third. They've got Castro at short, and they've got Kiersey in right. So those are how they maneuvered those players after those injuries yesterday. Yesterday's game ended with those guys in that exact same position. And you brought this point up, which is very interesting, I think. And maybe it's a telltale. Maybe the Twins are showing their cards for when Royce Lewis can come back, or maybe this is the hole they've dug themselves into, and this is how it's got to work. But you pointed out that they didn't put Brooks Lee at short when he came into the game. They moved Willie there. They moved Willie Castro to short in lieu of Correa, and they moved Brooks Lee. They put Brooks Lee at third base. Interesting, because there's a lot of tethered pieces here in all this process. Most notably, there's been discussion about Royce Lewis being a second baseman one day. If they just penciled Brooks, is Brooks the third baseman? Is Royce going to play second base when he comes back? Does this mean anything, or does it not mean anything at all?
Yeah, I think it does mean something, because Brooks Lee, we saw, played shortstop when Correa was out and got some good looks at shortstop. Now, obviously, he got injured in the latter half of the year and didn't play a ton in the second half. But in his first few weeks in the majors, he did get some time at shortstop. And he, of course, was drafted as a shortstop, came up in the minors as a shortstop. But that just happens with a lot of first-round infielders. Dustin Pedroia is the only guy to ever be a first-round pick who played second base. If you're a first-round pick infielder, you're playing shortstop. And that's what the Twins kept Brooks Lee at, because it doesn't miss you anything to train him up as a shortstop. Maybe he sticks there. But the fact that basically when he subbed in for Carlos Correa, Castro was playing at third. You could have just easily had him go to shortstop and Castro play third. It is telling that they said, no, Brooks, you go to third. Willie, you are our second string shortstop. And that is important. I don't know what it necessarily means for Royce Lewis, because you had Ed Julian at second base, so you weren't necessarily going to move. You weren't going to move him off that spot, because defensively, that's pretty much the only position he can play. But when Royce Lewis does come back, that'll be the interesting part. So it doesn't necessarily tell as much for when Royce comes back, but I think it is telling for the Twins that they view in kind of the hierarchy of defensive shortstops. They view Willie Castro better at shortstop than they do Brooks Lee, or at the very least, they view Brooks Lee as such a better third baseman over Willie Castro that they would want him to play third base instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, it does. And I guess the one of the other things to consider here is who they sent down to bring Brooks Lee up. They sent down Jose Miranda, who was the third baseman. So it might just be like, we brought you up here to be our third baseman because Jose, like, it's just
Miranda was supposed to be, he's out now.
Swap. So maybe that's the case, but it does make you wonder, like, if that's their approach to this. Again, I am way down the line of like anxiety sports fan on this. I understand that. But like, if that's what you think, if you're bringing Brooks up as just a literally, we need a new third baseman because Miranda's not doing it. So you call Brooks up to do that. Doesn't this also mean Royce is out for a while?
It could be. I mean, I think you probably aren't holding your breath on Royce to come out of that door tomorrow.
Well, I mean, that certainly is not the case anyway.
Right. So, I mean, you're not expecting him back till May anyway, so you might as well assume with life without him and figure it out when he gets back. And it's probably a little bit of that because by that time, somebody else will have gotten injured because Corey, Jose Miranda goes down to AAA. He's at Target and he's getting Target.
The department store.
Yes. Getting groceries. He's getting bottled water. The bottled water, he's like carrying it, like you got bottled water and you're carrying it in your arm because like, I don't need a cart. I'm just going to pick up 2 things. I don't need to kind of waste my time with that. Well, it slips. And as it slips, he goes to reach it. And what happens, Corey?
You tell me, man.
What do you think? What do you think happened when he dropped it and quickly went down to go pick it back up? And oh shoot, that's a relief. What a break I caught. I almost dropped that water. Wouldn't that have been embarrassing? Wouldn't that have not been a good deal? Well, according to The Athletic, the Twins placed infielder Jose Miranda on the 7-day IL at AAA St. Paul with a strained left hand, an injury he sustained because the Twins official said Miranda was shopping at Target on the team's day off Monday and was purchasing a case of water, which began to slip from his grip. Miranda hurt his hand when he attempted to catch the case, with the pain becoming more noticeable as the night went on. Corey, this team is cursed.
Hate everything about it.
I don't like to throw the term cursed around because I think a lot of teams overplay it, but I don't know what else to say.
Well, here's what I would say. It seems like, I mean, that's super unlucky. This is like Kevin Love hurting his, doing knuckle push-ups and hurting his hand.
The old, like a guy pulls his hamstring sneezing kind of thing.
It's very unlucky. I want to be as respectful to Jose Miranda as I can possibly be about this. I don't think it was ever the plan to have him be like the guy. No.
And he had a good flash in 2022. He showed some promise, but I think basically he's working himself out of the Twins' future plans.
Carried the team for a week last year. Remember when he hit like 6 home runs in 6 straight at bats or whatever it was.
He is a big league ball player, but he is proving he is not like this guy is going to be your starting third baseman for the next 5 years.
It's Jake Cave, right? There's 2 levels of single A, there's double A, there's triple A, and then there's the majors. And then there is this whole slew of players who are 4A and doesn't exist. He'll get healthy and he'll go to triple A and he'll rake. And he'll do everything he needs to do. And then it's just whatever that next step is just too much. I'm trying to not be rude about this because it's really easy to just be dismissive and disrespectful. And I don't mean that. I don't mean it to be that way, but the signs are on the wall here a little bit, CJ, that like we're starting to run out of opportunities, and he just might be Jake Cave, which would be a baseball career I would kill for.
Exactly. It'd just be great. But unfortunately, that's where it's at. So
it'd be amazing.
All right, Twins injury issues, just kind of where they're at. All right. Let's wrap up the show by doing a little NBA nickname game for the Wolves Lakers edition. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds great. That narrows it down for me at least a little bit, which is nice.
Yep. Wolves Lakers edition. We're going to keep it current. We're going to be pretty, we're not going to get too complicated with this one today. Current Wolves and or Lakers players that are currently on those two teams.
Oh my gosh. This is going to, it's embarrassing how little I know about current players. I want to be perfectly clear about this. My first guess is, can I just get my first guess out of the way right now? I'll say Rui Hachimura.
I don't have the ant, but
okay. 0 for 1.
Anytime I do the ant sound effect, by the way, I always just think of the movie Grown Ups when Rob Schneider's doing that whole Ava Maria bit, and then at the very end they all just kind of go ant, and then the whole place loses it, and you just Rob Schneider like loses it for a second, just goes, "Grow up, will ya?" Just yells in like a funeral. That movie is funny. It's not like the best Adam Sandler movie of all time, but when it hits on FX on a Sunday afternoon, you're like, yeah, sure, I'll leave it on while I go do this thing in the background. And that's a perfectly acceptable comedy movie.
Yep.
So, all right. Here we go. Nickname game, NBA edition, Wolves Lakers first round edition. Here we go. All right. First guess. Big Mac. Big Mac.
Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels. So what do we got? Yes, Jaden McDaniels also goes by Slim or Seatbelt, which Seatbelt is a great name.
Seatbelt is good.
Because he's locking you up.
I like when they do Slim Slam. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Slim.
I want to add one to the list. I don't know how I can do this basketball reference, but please add Alfredo to the list, or maybe like Big Alfredo. Jaden McDaniels loves Alfredo. That's apparently like on all the social media bits. They do like, what's your favorite food or what? And he just like goes on and on about Alfredo, and that's like an inside joke.
He's right to like it. It's a tasty food.
It is a tasty food. Alfredo.
All right, that one was easy. I didn't know that was his nickname, but when you're Mac, it can only come from a Mac sort of name.
There was Jaden McDaniels, and of course there was Jordan McLaughlin, and both of them went by J-Mac for a while, so it was very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, there's one. You are 1 for 1. All right, next one. Here we go. It's super tough. Vandalorian.
I'll go with Jared Vanderbilt.
I was just going to go with Vando, but you would have guessed it right away. Vandalorian is actually a really fun one because it's obviously the Mandalorian, like from the Star Wars show that was really big. But a couple things have changed. One, Vando is no longer on my favorite basketball team. So like fun player, don't care about him that much.
The only reason I know it, by the way, because I've probably done his name. We've probably done his name before on this show, but back when he was playing for the Wolves.
Exactly. And the Mandalorian, when like he first was on the Wolves in like 2020, 2021, like the Mandalorian was like one of the biggest shows on television. And now like it's just kind of, it's jumped the shark a little bit. And that show isn't revered as highly as it was when it first came out. And they take like 3 years to make a new season, and they're not making another season because they're waiting to make a movie because Disney has no idea what they're doing.
Jared Vanderbilt is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. All right, last one, Corey. Best for last. Just one nickname here. Hillbilly Kobe.
Hillbilly Kobe?
Hillbilly Kobe.
Gosh, I like that. It's offensive.
The good news is it does cross some things off the list.
Who could be Hillbilly? I mean, is it Austin Reeves?
Austin Reeves.
Yeah, that's offensive to Austin Reeves. I got to be honest.
Hillbilly Kobe.
He's good.
Played college ball at Wichita State and Oklahoma. He was born in Newark, Arkansas.
Yeah.
Graduated high school at Cedar Ridge in Newark.
So what they should do is Kobe was Black Mamba.
Uh-huh.
They should give Austin a snake name from like he should be Copperhead or something.
He should be the Hillbilly Rattler.
Yeah, he should be the Rattler. That's what he should. That'd be much cooler. Come on. Let's do that. How do we start this campaign on behalf of Laker fans? It's the wrong thing to call him. If you want to reference him and give him a Kobe Bryant homage, just call him by a different snake.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the other thing too. I've been seeing a lot of Lakers fans on social media now because the Wolves-Lakers discourse has been popping up. I've seen a couple things. One, here's the Lakers. The Lakers, they have it all. They're not worried about the Wolves. You want to know why? Even though the Lakers defensively are a little...
Because they're going to get every call in this series?
Well, here's the Lakers' plan. They're putting Vando on Ant. Done. He's locked up. They're putting Jared Vanderbilt on Anthony Edwards. Ant's not going to do anything.
Yep.
Vando plays 16 minutes a game. Somebody's like, please, I beg of you, play Vando on offense for 30 minutes. Like,
right, exactly.
That guy, he's a great defender. He's a good defender. But Jaden McDaniels is a good defender who averages 12 a game. Vando is a good defender who averages 3 a game.
Yeah, you called him a great defender. He's a good defender.
He's a nice defender.
He's the rim protector. That's where you can't have him on Ant.
Right.
Who's going to protect that's the Lakers are going to get every single call in this series. Everyone knows it. I don't even mean that as a
complaint. It's just a matter.
Yeah, that's not an woe is us sort of situation. You're playing LeBron James and Luka Doncic. You're not going to get a single call.
Prepare for Anthony Edwards, cough, cough, prepare for that.
By the way, you didn't get a single call you felt all season, and you didn't get a single call in the playoffs last year. I mean, you probably did. But
probably did a lot. If you ask Denver fans, of course.
But I mean, their guy was throwing stuff on the court, and he wasn't even talked to.
Turns out every fan feels slighted by the officials.
So you're not going to get a single call. That's just how it's going to go. If you do, it's going to happen in the first game of the series. So that way the NBA can be like, see what you guys are talking about, and then it'll never be right after that.
Mm-hmm. Or the Lakers will get up 3-0, and then they'll do it in game 4. The Wolves and they'll be like, see?
Yep.
Everybody has the thing of Jalen Clark guarding Reeves, and it's like just kind of like the arm goes right past the elbow, and you can see it doesn't touch / barely touches.
So
shooting.
So this now is woe is us.
Yeah, that now part is yes.
Not gonna get a call is like that's just how it's gonna go.
It's how it's gonna go. By the way, more Lakers fans on Twitter. Here we go. A Wolves fan went, Lakers fans from Minnesota. I just can't respect that. And here's what this Laker fan had to say. Lakers started their franchise in Minneapolis. It's completely fine for a Minnesotian to support the Lakers. Minnesotian. Minnesotian.
Yep.
Yeah. So good to know that California can't read either. So that's good.
They read good.
They can't read good. So that's not a deal. And somebody said, and to my point, because everybody's like clowning the guy for Minnesotian, which is funny because that's whatever. My other thing is like, yeah, as we all know, a lot of Minnesotians are sure real Dallas North Star fans.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, turns out the franchise left you and you got a new one.
The Lakers only works in LA because all they ever did while they were there was win, and it fits. But the nickname Lakers in that town makes as much sense as the Jazz being in Utah.
You ever watch the movie Basketball? It's the beginning thing. The Minneapolis Lakers moved to Los Angeles where there are no lakes. The Jazz moved to Utah where they don't allow music.
Correct.
Yeah, that's... Again, the Vancouver Grizzlies are in Memphis, which isn't the end of the world. It's pretty generic, but that was a purely like Vancouver
in Memphis.
Right. That was a Vancouver. They're kind of in the North Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Perfect name for there.
Perfect name. Now instead it'd be like the Minnesota Twins moving and still calling them the Twins. Like
a lone city like a standalone.
The Twins are moving to Nashville. They're now the Nashville Twins.
What? That doesn't make any sense.
They're called it'd be like, I I mean, it'd be like the Dallas North Stars moving, the North Stars moving down. Now they called themselves the Lone Stars for a little bit, and then they dropped it, and they just call themselves the Stars. But let's be honest, Norm Green still sucks. All right, good. We got it in. Everybody happy? Let's get out of here. Morning Sports Desk powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Corey went 3 for 3 on the nickname game today, so that's pretty good.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.